Bruh, I saw this, my nephew was talking to this girl. Oh my God, dude, she just killed him. I mean, he was like, excuse me, how you doing? She goes, ugh.
What's going on YouTube? It's your host, Bruce GNT, and we are here to talk about the brother Anthony Mackie. Now, I've heard apparently people are upset about how he phrased or what he said about masculinity and how it's dying within specifically the US. And I saw a little bit of this and I watched it through. What he said wasn't off. It wasn't wrong by any means. I think he hit it pretty spot on. A little bit of a background before. He's pretty much speaking about his boys because I'm pretty sure he has a few young boys. And he was saying how he has an older one. And his older one pretty much keeps the young ones in line, letting them know, hey, look, you don't want to make dad mad. And that's pretty much how he runs his household. And then not only that, he keeps his children humble. He says basically none of them have Jordans, which I could kind of understand that because growing up, I didn't have Jordans. One, because I didn't really like Jordans like that. And then not only that, Jordans are expensive. I'm not gonna say it kept me humble. There were a lot of things that kept me humble throughout my childhood. It really made me take a step back and look at my peers that focus so heavily on Jordans and just something I thought was kind of useless and stupid. But look, enough of me talking. We gotta let him speak and say his piece and see exactly what people are so upset about.
In the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not...
I didn't see anything I disagree with. I think it's really on point. What I did realize, just like looking through and then seeing like people speak about this part in particular, a lot of people are taking what he said out of context. A lot of people basically like saying, oh, why would he thrust that responsibility onto that young boy, you know, yada, yada, a whole bunch of nonsense. And essentially, if you paid attention and listened to it, and I'm sorry, if you were in a situation where you were raised to be a young man, you would understand what he meant. What he meant is that he has to take care of, he has certain responsibility he has to take care of, making sure that things are taken care of, things are locked down and properly like looked after. He's not saying that he's got to go out and work a job and provide for, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that the things that he can handle for his age, he makes sure is delegated to his oldest son. That's pretty much it. Besides that point, everything he said before that, I see nothing wrong with that. Look, 150% on point when saying that for the past 20 years we've been killing masculinity. Honestly, if you don't feel that is true, look, just jump online at any point in time. Every time when you go online, you hear it's not just a war between men and women. It's always something disparaging against men, and it's always taken as like a, yeah, that's really smart. Yeah, that's really intellectual. You know what? You are right. Men are the bane of the existence. You know, it's almost like they tell you being a man and being all these different types of things is just toxic. But then something I've noticed is that, especially in our media, the traits that men exhibit that they call toxic are the same traits that they put forth in women and say, okay, this makes a strong woman. You know, she's confrontational. You know, she's able to speak her mind, able to do all these different things. And the very same things that they say are toxically masculine are the things that when women do it, it's like, oh no, this is a strong, independent woman. It's like, okay, so tell me, is it an issue where it's just toxic overall? Or is it just an issue that when we do it, it just makes it toxic? And when women do it, it's empowering? Because I see it all the time in movies and just in my day-to-day. I could have sworn these very same traits were the traits that we said were terrible. And everything how he said about how he raises his children, his sons to be respectful, to always like to know how to treat a woman, to open the door for a woman, everything like that. People like to say chivalry is dead. Chivalry isn't dead. There's just a lot of men that don't know how to go about it because they don't have strong, positive male figures or people that just imprint that type of personality trait onto them.
I'm not there to protect. He got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, motherfucker climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, motherfucker jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different. You feel it when you go to Europe. Like you see these and you're like, could bust your ass, boy. You know what I mean?
That's not my sentiment. I have actually family that live in the UK. For my UK listeners, my London listeners, I don't feel that way. I respect you, okay? Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.
You know what I'm saying? You go to Europe.
Tight ass pants.
Yeah, tight ass pants. Motherfucker, what's good, boy? You better lotion your ankle. Like, you feel it when you go to Europe. Even when you, like, I was just in Kenya and I was walking around. I'm like, yeah. Dude was like, you ain't from here. Like, nah. Like, yeah, I could tell. I know you can. I could tell I ain't from here. You know what I mean? It's just that American male masculinity is something I think is very important for boys. Because now our little boys are afraid to fail, so they don't try. You know what I mean? When we were kids, we did tackle drills. We would run face first into each other.
We just talked about it. They shot. Dudes don't even talk to a woman face to face.
They don't know.
Absolutely correct. It's gotten worse. It's funny. A friend of mine, you know, he does YouTube as well. Meth Zuki. He does gaming and everything like that, and he does like different types of skits. And I'm gonna put his channel link in the description. I remember when we were like 12, maybe even 13. We used to go to the mall, King's Plaza. We used to go to King's Plaza, right? And I was like, yo, dog, like we should just go and walk up and just talk to girls. And I remember like we were both nervous about it. I was kind of like egging him on, like, yeah, we should go do it. And then it didn't really turn out that bad. Like, yeah, we faced some rejection, but it was something where, you know, we kind of took the L's and kind of learned from it and then moved on. And then now most guys don't do that. Actually, it's funny. I was talking to one of my younger cousins, and we were in South America, and he saw this one girl that he liked, and he looked at me. He was like, "Yo, call her over for me." I was like, "Nigga, call her over for you? What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, call her for me." I was like, "All right, bro. I'm gonna do this for you one time. That's it. After that, you're gonna walk up to these, like any girl you see, you're gonna walk up to them, you're gonna talk to them, and you're gonna like spit game." But it's funny, after that, he saw a girl, and I was like, "Oh, yo, go talk to her." He's like, "Oh, but you know, what do I say? Like, how do I?" And I told him, like, "Hey, look, this is how you go about it. You just walk up to them, you be yourself, be confident, looking at, you know, ask her name, tell her your name, you know." And he seemed so like nervous about it. And at the time, he was, I want to say 17. I was like, "Yo, dog, like it's okay. Like, trust me, taking L's is part of the game. Like, that's how that works. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. And there's nothing wrong with that." Like, the worst they could say is no. Well, that's not the worst they could say. That's not the worst they could say. But look, trust me, it's hardly ever you're gonna have a girl just go off on you. And I remember he was even asking, he's like, "Okay, what if she got a man?" It's like, then she's gonna tell you she got a man, or she's not gonna tell you she got a man. She's gonna dance with you anyway. Even if she do got a man, he's not gonna touch you as long as I'm here. Don't even worry about it. And he went. Actually, he did strike out with that one because she did have a man. So. Yeah, but it didn't turn out no type of way. Later on, I just saw him drifting around, just talking to girls and everything like that, getting numbers. And I was like, exactly, that's how you do it. Like, dudes, a lot of dudes nowadays are so afraid of getting rejected when rejection is part of the game. That's how you get better. That's how you perfect your craft. You know, if you don't fail, you don't know where you can be better at. Honestly, that's the way I see it. With the implementation of dating sites and apps and everything like that, it makes it so that you don't have to deal with that rejection and that kind of like that little pain, that little sting a little bit. You don't got to deal with it as much as if you were in person. A lot of people don't know how to deal with that. And it's very telling because I think there's studies talking about it where men are less likely to walk up to women and introduce themselves and try to talk to them. It's getting weird out there. Getting real weird.
Oh, how no more. Because, yo, women they are so mean and so angry. Bruh, I saw this, my nephew was talking to this girl. Oh my God, dude, she just killed him. I mean, he was like, "Excuse me, how you doing?" She goes, "Ugh."
I lied. I said it earlier, and I guess I'm still a liar. That no is not the worst thing that they could say. There's a whole lot. I never had a girl tell me "ugh." I've had girls politely reject me, but never "ugh." That would kill my spirit. It wouldn't kill my spirit. It made me feel kind of sad. I'm like, damn. Is it me? Like, what did I do? But yeah, that is rough. He's not wrong. There are a lot of girls are mean. But then again, like I said, I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm used to, like, especially pretty girls being mean. Yeah, I'm used to that. So that just kind of, you know, flies right off. I don't really care about it that much. But I can imagine as a young man, you hear something like that would be kind of discouraging and make you kind of feel like bad about it. But when you get that one where it works out, oh yeah, you're probably like, you know what? I bagged this one chick. I mean, my odds are up. Like, it's only up from here. unless they say something worse than ooh, then I don't know. Take a break. Take a break.
How do you come back from that? Yo, he just walked over to me. I gave him his beer. I was like, there you go, bro. That didn't happen. Let's start over.
You said Betty White shot her shot at you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it that I wanted to cover for this video, because what he said, honestly, I don't think it was that bad. But you know what? Look, I'm not gonna sit here and act like we don't know the ones that got upset with this. We know the ones that got upset about this, and what he said wasn't anything that controversial. He said something that a lot of people are thinking, and I feel like too afraid to say. All right, so this is editing Bruce right now. Okay, so I was editing the video and I had the original video like playing in the background, just listening to it, and I heard a part where apparently Anthony Mackie kissed a man. Now let me just say this, right? I have no beef with people wanting to live their life. You know, you're gay, you're lesbian. I don't care. That's not my issue. My issue is that he spoke about masculinity being killed within the U.S. And then when you kind of look at it, you're one of the main contributors, because you're part of the institution that kind of contributed to that massacre. You know, Hollywood. They spoke about that. And you know what? I'm going to let it play.
You were married, you got 4 sons, but
Right.
now you kissing a man like channeling that. You kissed a man.
He's different.
You act like-
Nah, he.
I was worried about that.
Hey, no, I was worried about him because he ain't had no facial hair, and I don't really feel like you can trust a black man
You
with
came
no
with
facial hair.
that booty face. Nah, I grew that shit right back.
That little thin one. At least that.
Hey, I don't like that, dog.
So my first job when I was at Juilliard, there was this guy named Michael Wynn. He was a writer. And we workshopped and did a play about Tupac called Up Against the Wind. So I've played Tupac 3 times. On stage, off Broadway, and in the movie, right? So the interesting thing was Michael Wynn wrote this play called Up Against the Wind. We did it at school. This guy, Rodney Evans, came to see it. He was doing this movie. He wanted me to play Perry's best friend, who was the poet. And I was like, nah, Perry's the best role. Like, I don't give a that he's gay. Like, it's the best role. He's like, well, you can't play gay. I said, why? He's like, because you're not gay. I was like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I'm an actor. We acted, right? So after a lot of back and forth, he gave me the role, mostly because he couldn't find anybody else who can act. So, got the role, did the movie, finished the movie, went off to do 8 Mile. So that was literally my first movie. Damn. But I did it for a specific reason. Growing up in the South in the 90s and 80s, you grow up homophobic, sexist, and racist. Like we talking about the 80s and the 90s. That's just a fact. You know what I mean? So when I got to school, my roommate was gay. Like, I didn't know how to deal with that. Like, my brother's gay. I didn't know how to deal with that. So being a man, I used my art to better myself. I played Perry so that I could understand my brother better. So I could understand my friends better. Going to art school, a bunch of my friends were gay. You know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid, we had a record label. We had the first gay rapper. Nobody gave a
Maybe how people interpret things and how they do things is different. Like I said, I don't care if you're gay or not. That's not my business. I don't give a damn. But my thing is, you can't sit here and talk about how they destroy masculinity. People can interpret it, okay, you're doing this because you're trying to get money. He took it as, hey, I'm trying to understand these people because I grew up in this environment. I can't speak on the South, like how it was in the 80s and 90s. I can't speak on that. But what happened to having a conversation? You mean to me you couldn't just talk to those motherfuckers and be like, hey, look, you know, tell me what, like you know, like get better understanding like that. You had to play a part to understand. To me, that doesn't really make any sense. Like, maybe I'm off, but it's just I'm just not getting it, because I've had a few gay friends that be in the military. One of my roommates when I was in the schoolhouse was gay. We just had normal conversation. I treat him as a person, and I mean, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with that homophobic mindset, but it's like we had conversations, we talked, and that's how I learned a lot about gay people. Like, especially like those closeted ones, yo. And you know, and even besides that, like I had like one of my close friends, a guy that me and him share the same birthday. He's bi. He mostly leans towards guys most times, but you know. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you mean to me you couldn't just have a conversation with, like, let's say he said he had friends and his brother that was gay. Okay, you couldn't just have a conversation with them to get better understanding. You have to play a role where you kiss a man, and then on the back end you talk about, yeah, they try to massacre masculinity, and it's like, okay. But you're doing the things that people are talking about led to the fruition of the death of masculinity. To me, it just doesn't make sense, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there because it's funny. I was just about to finish the video and I had it playing in the background. I was like, what the fuck? And I had to look at it. I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. But look, if he likes it, I ain't gonna say I love it. But if he likes it, that's cool. That's his business. But I just want to put that in there. Back to the original video. Masculinity is being demonized and kind of being pushed to the wayside, and we have our young men growing up with poor emotional control, the inability to communicate with others, especially women, and just being weak. And when I say being weak, I'm not saying that you gotta be like macho man, like, oh, I don't cry, but not being able to fall down and get back up, being resilient. That's what I mean by being weak. A lot of our young men are struggling with that. And I've said it many times on this channel. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I have something I've been like working on to where I want to create this thing to kind of like guidelines for men to look at, you know, as characteristics, traits, and then principles that they should kind of follow. What I believe makes you a successful and just stand up man. Someone that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can feel proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. I'm still working on that. It's taking a little bit of time. I know, I'm sorry. That's gonna be it for this video. You guys already know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below. Tell me, do you feel like Anthony Mackie was off? Do you feel like what he said was that bad, or, you know, detrimental to men and just people out there? Or do you feel like he is actually on point? And subscribe if you want more. Peace.